So I'm Ian,
I'm Jason.
and we are here. We are going to be talking about, as you know, self-directed IRAs, not just gold, but precious metals in general. And so before we get into it, quick disclaimer, we as a passive custodian, Madison Trust Company does not provide any type of tax, legal, or investment advice. This content is specifically as an educational resource to start the conversation. And we're always happy to have more in-depth conversations as well, one-on-one, should they be necessary or helpful.
Awesome. So we'll hop right into it. So the type of account over here, a self-directed IRA. Of course, we're going to cover, silver, gold, precious metals in general, but there's a lot of other things people come here for. So we're more of a one-stop shop for things like real estate, private placements, everything. But today the focus is precious metals. So for a standard IRA, a common one is you'll have some stock in there. You can't really have as much control over what you get invested in. Over here with the Madison Trust self-directed IRA, you are able to get into things like precious metals, decide how much gold, how much silver, how much platinum do you want in the account, and that should help you diversify a bit more. You're welcome to bring as much money as you want over from an existing IRA, or if it's a previous employer 401k, you'll give us a call. We'll figure out where your money's coming from and see what we can work with. But the main idea is yes, you can definitely get it invested into things other than what you see on Wall Street. You can really get it into precious metals and help diversify. That could be silver eagles and it could be silver bars, and we'll cover that shortly too.
Awesome. And to clarify, this is not just, your ETF, your gold ETF. This is physical gold, silver, etc., physical investments that you're able to have in control within your IRA. And so there's a bunch of different reasons why you may want to consider something like this or consider a self-directed IRA in general, specifically with precious metals and with gold. It can act as a great hedge against inflation. That's something that's just been true as long as our country has existed and in many centuries prior to that. So it's something that's considered more stable through and through. Beyond that, it can continue to increase in value. In recent years, it's been kind of insane
Yep.
to say the least. And also, it allows you to diversify beyond just what you have currently, besides the stocks, bonds, mutual funds. Even if you want to do real estate or something else, it gives you a portion of your investments that maybe are considered more stable for what a lot of people would consider.
So really, what types of precious metals? So of course, there's gold, there's silver, platinum, palladium. There's a few different types that you can get involved with. So you would be opening an account through a place called Trade. They have a whole menu of different items that you'd be able to select. Ultimately, get them stored inside of a depository that we also work with very closely. But it's really up to you which type. So following the IRS, the Internal Revenue Code, so really we do have to match it up to certain purity standards. So if you can see there, most of them are 99.5% are up pure. So certain types of like collectible silver would fall under a collectibles category, which we cannot hold here. So we are more looking at the high pure types of bars, coins, so on and so forth.
Yep. And to also just educate more beyond just precious metals, the IRS makes it clear that you cannot invest in antiques or collectibles. The exception to that is these types of metals, as you'll see up here. If you aren't sure, you have a particular coin or bar that you want to make an investment into and you're not sure if it would qualify, let us know. We have an extensive list that we can review with you. But this is the starting point really to consider. And so how you even do this? How do you get started? How do you make the investment? How is it stored? It all starts with the Madison Trust account. So you first would go through an online application to set up a general self-directed IRA. Once you've done that and you have an account number, you'll go to Trade, which is the company that we work with for precious metals. So you'd go to them, you'd provide them with your Madison Trust account number, you'd set up an account with them, and from there you're going to choose what metals you may want to purchase and what quantity. and you'll come back to us then, fill out the trade confirmation form as well as our investment authorization form to get everything into motion so we can go forward with the purchase. And at that point, we can transfer the funds from the account to Delaware Depository, where they will put the metals into storage in their facility. So that's a long-winded way of explaining exactly how this works. There's a lot more to it in the nitty-gritty in terms of how you get funds into your Madison Trust account to begin with. Depending on where it's coming from, it'll have different ways to do so. And so that's where, one-on-one consultation is going to give you a lot more insight there. We're happy to have those conversations with you. One thing maybe you want to mention, Jason, is about how you would do this type of investing through checkbook control, not just as I've discussed with just a general account.
Yeah, certainly. So the way that we're mentioning is the regular, most basic type of account where it goes through Trade, Delaware Depository. Some people who call us, you'll book a meeting, we'll kind of figure out what you want. Maybe you do want to work with your preferred broker and your preferred depository. In that case, we can set you up with what's called a checkbook IRA, and that breaks down to either having an LLC or a trust with a private bank account owned by the checkbook account that we're making that you personally would be able to handle the transactions through. So that means you would be able to find your own place to work with. It's like an upgrade to your account, but it does give you that freedom. Nice thing with checkbook as well is, maybe you're not totally set on only precious metals. You could own precious metals and a real estate deal or a private company investment in there. So there's a bunch of different ways you can go. Give us a call. We'll figure out exactly what better fits your needs, of course.
Yeah, that's great. One other thing just to touch on real quick is that the process that you're going through with the standard account or checkbook control, it's the same starting point, it's the same conversation, it's the same Madison Trust account. It's what you do thereafter that determines what'll unfold. And so, we want to walk with you each step of the way, make sure you understand what's going on, because there can be some differences to consider there.
Mhm.